Right, let's see if this is any better. Right, so building an audience, huh? Alright, you're back. People, apologies. I don't know what it is really. I think it may have been my damn, it's saying this connection is weak too. I don't get it, seriously. Must be my internet playing up today. Right, so I'll try and I've come really look at that. Alaikum assalam. I don't know what it is. Normally my internet connection is absolutely fine. It's upgraded and all, so I don't know what the issue is. Anyway, it seems alright right now. It could. Anyway, let's get back to some of these questions. Need a bookshelf like that? Hell yeah. Here. Shukran, Marianthi, shukran. Is it valid for a traveller to join prayers congregation as 4 rak'ah and then asr to? Yes, that's permissible, Abdus Salam. The basic ruling is if you're a traveller, you can shorten the prayer, but must you shorten the prayer? Or should you shorten the prayer? According to the Shafi'iyah, it's better to pray complete, the actual prayer. According to the Hanafiya, you have to. There's like a semi-obligation that you shorten the prayer. And according to the Malikiya, it's sunnah to shorten the prayer. Look at that. The Malikiya school of Medina, always spot on, right in the middle where the sunnah is. So according to the Malikiya, it's sunnah. So you can decide to pray complete or shorten. That's absolutely fine. You got books behind you. I got them in front of me. Allah. You got books behind you. I got them in front of me. God damn it. I just use these as... somebody asked me, do you actually read those books? I said, hell no. I just use them to either fill space or sometimes as paperweight or just to lift some. Sometimes if I'm feeling a bit weak as a bit of some bodybuilding with them, but I can't possibly think what else anybody would do with books. Let's see, what else is going down? Kaifak, Karam, Lola, alright, Bikhair. Let's see. What's your daily routine? My daily routine, you don't want to know my daily routine. It's crazy. Even I don't know my daily routine. Always so much going on, seriously. Sometimes dealing with issues, certain people I deal with, Islamic matters. That's my Mufti role, almost every day. Chilling, if I can chill, if I can hit the gym. Sometimes it's been now 2 days I haven't hit the gym, having withdrawal symptoms. I was supposed to go today, but I'm so exhausted. So I thought, what the hell, let's chill today, huh? Let's watch a bit of iPad after this and crash out. Tomorrow, early morning. Right, so you're having a party. Alright, Abu Taymiyyah, not quite, but I can throw one. Salamu alaikum, Anisa Bujwani. Let's see, is there more to that? So I'm trying to open up the... Alright, in a previous... Alright, whoa. Can you share your insights on interfaith marriage? How come it is generally sold and hold on to in our specifics so that it's not allowed for Muslim women to marry men of the book? Okay. What if someone from polytheistic faith? How should the marriage of Zainab be understood in that light? In a previous Q&A you talked about transgender people should be able to get married. Can that not be taken into consideration when it comes to homosexuality? Alright, this person, who is this person? Anisa Bujdaini. Anisa Bujdaini just wants me to get lynched. That's the kind of people. See, who needs friends? Who needs friends or enemies? Sorry, when you have good friends that want to kind of set you up and stitch you up with questions like that. The thing is, look, as far as interfaith marriages are concerned, generally, if you're going to go by reason, you would assume that interfaith marriages wouldn't work. The Quran makes an exception for marrying women of the book. Yeah. Now, why can't women then marry men of the book? The thing is, I understand the apparent kind of inconsistency to it. There are several kind of, I suppose, alleged or supposed wisdoms. I don't know if that is the divine reason behind them, but there are many. We could mention them, but I'm sure you could object to all of them as well, technically. You know, somebody could say, well, this, what about family? What about this? What about patriarchy? What about the world? What about, and, you know, what about the child? What about lineage? What about this? What about, you could say many things. And I'm sure whatever somebody says, you could find a kind of objection to it. So, the truth is, I don't know what to say. I mean, that verse is a verse of the Quran. Obviously, you know, I accept it. I also see sometimes just the way, maybe it's describing the world as it was in a particular way. Maybe it was describing the polygamous nature of men and the fact that they would take... Yeah, I mean, once again, whatever I say, I'm going to land into something. This is one of those, like, you know, this is like being in Saw with Jigsaw. Let's play a game. Right. Do you want to go behind door number 1? You've got a room, I don't know, like broken glass on the floor, and you've got to walk past barefooted. Or behind door number 2. There's something like barbed wire and you gotta roll around in it. It's like, whatever I say, I'm just gonna land myself in it. So it's better to just kind of just accept defeat. I don't know what to say, to be honest. I don't know. La adri. You know, I don't know. Okay, so... Yes, Allah. I mean, the thing is, I could say, look, maybe it's the polygamous nature of men, and maybe there's some relationships that people wouldn't have treated as seriously as others, or maybe it was a way for people to enter Islam, or maybe it was a way to build communal relations. But whatever I say, there will be objections easily. I mean, there will be objections to that. Could you talk a little bit... The marriage of Zainab... You see, it is interesting. It is definitely an interesting incident. And how she offers him protection, and she kind of remains faithful to him, to Abu al-As, who eventually kind of then embraces Islam. But the thing is, it is interesting, that whole interaction, although in the Hadith the Prophet ﷺ does say to her that do not have marital relations with him in that state when he comes to Medina. But in general, she does offer him protection. He visits her. They speak about a lot of things and so on. So it is definitely an interesting point. My connection seems to be playing up again, people. Omar Beg saying, what your boys at Quilliam saying? God knows, because one, they're not my boys, and two, it doesn't really make a difference, does it? This is one of those things, isn't it? It's just hashtag haters gonna hate, innit? So, you know, when people, they don't like me for some reason and they just don't know what to... I know, let's just call him a sellout and associate him with Quilliam, even though he said like 100 times I've got nothing to do with Quilliam. But it's okay, we'll just keep saying it. Ah, God. Well, I wonder how your life's working out for you, Umar. You have a server problem. I think I do. I think I do for that. I think I do. I'm not sure what's going on today. Normally it's okay, so I don't know really what's going on. Do you see any hair? Do you use any hair products? Yeah, I use different different things. Vitamins. Take your daily vitamins. Q&A postponed till next week. No problem. What is your opinion on British Muslims joining the British Army? I think there is no harm in joining the army per se. The land you live in, you can join that army. I think the question is in wars that are oppressive. So it's not about the army. The army does a lot of good as well. It's about oppressive wars. Not humanitarian or helpful or... That's and what kind of rights do you have then to object and to not participate? That's the problem. How much do you bench press? Not enough, Abdul, not enough. Probably just 2 plates right now, either side. Salam, can you explain more on the hadith regarding women prostrating to their husbands? Look at that, Arif Mia's like, can you explain? As he has his harem around him with wives, he's like, can you explain this hadith of the women prostrating? Nah, don't worry about it, Arif. I'm just the hadith doesn't say women prostrating. There is a hadith about if there was to be something, and I think it's just, you see, the problem is, you know what it is, we get fixated on certain points that just suit us. This was a particular... First of all, if it's valid, it's a particular incident in which the Prophet is trying to highlight a point of gratitude. It's like, something saying about your parents, for example. Even if you spent an entire lifetime doing this, you'd never really be able to repay a particular aspect even of them. It doesn't mean now everything has to just become, that the parents have to go, aha, if you spent your entire life, you couldn't even repay me. Aha, has it been 2 minutes already? Let me remind you again. You couldn't spend your whole... Oh, has it been another minute? Let me remind you. Hey, guess what I'm about to remind you again? That's not... Hey, anything to talk about? I know. Let's just remind them again about what the rights that they'll never be able to repay. This was just... It's about creating an awareness. It's not about kind of just going OTT, just doing an overkill on these kind of things. Because it drives people away from Islam. That's what it does. Fatima Khan, can I get a shout out? Alright, Fatima Khan, shout out to you. Alright. Ridi! Allahu Akbar. Wa alaikum assalam. This is Ustad Ridwan, who's currently in the KSA. I don't know what the gang signs for the KSA would be, but that's Saudi Arabia. Are we allowed to decorate and make structures, domes over graves? I personally disagree with that kind of stuff. I think Islam has a beautiful kind of simplicity to it, which the Prophet ﷺ strongly emphasized. Decorating graves and stuff, I would personally understand these things to be makruh. And that's what the Maliki Madhab traditionally felt as well, that these things were makruh. I don't know about haram, but definitely makruh. People do it all the time, but I wouldn't I mean, I wouldn't encourage. The thing is, it's a waste of money. You're better off feeding the poor with that kind of money. They will, if you gave a poor person, or if you made a difference to somebody's life and said, this person you can be grateful to, who's no longer in this world. That person would, from their heart say a prayer, a dua for that person. They would be like, wow, never met that person, but due to them, there was a positive, a significant difference made to my life. Rather than spending thousands and thousands on, on maybe tens of thousands on domes and God knows what, turning, a grave into a mausoleum kind of thing. I mean, I can understand sometimes it's done for historical, soup, I don't know, like you're going to get some figure. But generally, from a faith perspective, it's not on really. Sajid Riyasat, a shout out going out to you, Sajid. What is the definition of hijab? Covering the hair is obvious, Sana Saleh says, but are hands and feet required as well? Hands are not required. There is a difference of opinion on feet. In my understanding, I think Imam Abu Hanifa and Sufyan al-Thawri and many of the other ulama were spot on, that feet are not a kind of part of hijab, right? Because I mean, it's impossible to imagine how that in the desert during those times that the women would cover their feet like that. It's impossible to imagine that. I mean, that's even today. That's not how rural people live. Rural people don't walk around wearing socks and stuff like that. Okay. All right. Salam, Aftabuddin wa alaikum assalam. Mariam Noor says, Salamu alaikum Mufti. I'm class, but just wanted to say salam. Look at that. Mariam Noor saying, not that I'm in class, but I'm class. Alaikum assalam. Shukran. If all four imams are right, then why can't we take different parts from each madhab, join salahs if we do wudu? Yeah, I mean, it's a long debate. I don't believe it's haram to pick and choose from different madhabs. I believe it is inconsistent, but it's not haram. I think it's cool on certain matters, but if you start doing that on every single thing, you'll just be immensely confused. And the other thing is, from a principle perspective, it's inconsistent. That's all. I think you can do it to make life easy on certain matters, but for example, let's say you say, okay, I'm Shafi'i. Now, but I want to take from the Maliki madhab on, I don't know, like let's say, just trying to think a clear example on, I know, wiping over the leather socks. So, the Malikis don't accept this hadith here. They say Amr al-Madina contradicts it. So the thing is, as in the restriction of wiping over the socks to just 1 day and 1 night, or 3 days, 3 nights for the traveller. Now the Shafi'i madhab would say, no, every hadith that comes is sahih. The Maliki would say, well, we don't care if it's sahih. If it contradicts the school of Medina, it contradicts, or the tradition of Medina, then we don't accept it. Now, you see, if you're going to accept a ruling based on that principle, but then reject that very principle in several other occasions, it does breed an inconsistency. Okay. But I mean, generally, if on some issues to make life easy, I don't believe it's a problem. If one has najasah on clothes and one performs salah, is the salah valid according to Maliki fiqh? Mujahid, there is a difference of opinion. There's 3 actual transmissions within the school of Medina from Imam Malik. Ashhab transmits what you're, or I'm not sure if you are saying that, but that purity of clothes and of body in general. I don't mean wudu, but I mean having impurity on the body or on the clothes. This is a sunnah according to him. And they use the hadith of Jibreel that when the Prophet ﷺ during his salah, he whilst praying removed his shoes. and all the Sahaba removed their shoes. And the Prophet says to them, or after Salah, he says, hey, what was up with that? How come you all took your shoes off during Salah? And they say, but we saw you taking your shoes off.